Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Market Insights. I am Steven Sitkowski, sharing with you some thoughts on the market, what's going on. Hopefully, everybody had a fantastic 4th of July, maybe a little bit of an extended weekend. Yes. And the markets are just kind of starting off the week a little not a heck of a lot going on so far. Always subject to change. It is July the 7th. I want you to know that everything that we do here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as investment advice. These are just my own personal observations being shared with you. So, what's moving the markets right now? Bassett says several trade deals are going to be announced. He made it sound like this week. So Wall Street ought to cheer that. Wall Street likes certainty. And, one of the big potential flies in the ointment right now is if we start talking about trade wars again and battles with other countries and punitive actions. And hopefully, we and they can arrive at some numbers that make mutual sense. And that should be really good for the markets. So I would consider that to be potentially good news. Elon Musk, never one for convention, announced that he is going to launch his own political party, which I find fascinating. It'll be very interesting to sort of watch that play out. Now, Tesla stock dropped 8% on the announcement. So if you remember, the stock was struggling when Musk was heavily involved with Trump. And then he said, I'm going to back away from that and I'm going to focus on my car business. And then Tesla stock went higher. Now people are worried again that, his efforts are going to be diffused and elsewhere. So the stock came back down. Like I said, Mr. Musk is a very interesting individual and one of the really extraordinary characters of our time, but you can't doubt his intellect. Tariffs go into effect as of right now, August 1st. They were supposed to go into effect at the end of this week, right? And then we had the 90 days. Well, the 90 days was the end of this week. And now I guess that's been pushed back a little bit. Who knows? I think as long as other countries are negotiating with us in good faith, then we'll keep pushing this off. That's sort of my sense in watching this all unfold. 10-year Treasury, pretty stable, 4.368, advantageous rate for equities. Oil prices are up a little bit, 67.30. They were down in the low 60s recently. Market breadth for the week. Look at the new highs versus new lows. So this is on the New York Stock Exchange. And then on the NASDAQ, almost as impressive. So we're getting really great participation right now. Definitely in the midst of a bullish market. Last week's winners, so at that one big beautiful bill that was passed, I don't know that we understand the full ramifications of it, but some of the solar companies were helped. So First Solar up 8.51%, Cadence up 5%, Synopsys, Tapestry, you can sort of go through the list. ServiceNow up 3.5%. First half winners. This is for 2025 Palantir and Energy. Man, they are neck and neck, 78%. Howmet Aerospace, 70%. Seagate Technology, 67. Supermicro, 62. GE Vernova, 61. Newmont, 56. Uber, 54. GE, it's just been plowing ahead, 54. And CVS Health, 53. Now, if you got winners, what else you have to talk about? Losers. Deckers, Enphase, United Health, Lululemon, Edison, Dow, Moderna, West Pharmaceuticals, PG&E, and Brown Forman. So you do see some consumer discretionary in there, which is the worst performing sector so far for the year. What are we watching this week? Nothing today. Tomorrow we have the small business optimism index coming out. It's expected to stay the same. On Wednesday, even though there's no announcement on interest rates, we will get the FOMC minutes. So those will be getting shared. Well, there will be an announcement on, let me take a look at something. Hang on. Let's look at our Fed Watch tool here real quick. I know we've got an announcement for July. Is it? Yeah, it is the 30th. So we've got minutes coming out. Those will come out on the 9th, but on the 30th, we get our next Fed announcement relative to rates. And we don't think anything is going to change on that. Thursday, we get initial jobless claims expected to creep up just a bit, a little bit of Fed speak, and then the monthly U.S. federal budget deficit. Anything on there that's going to move the market? The only thing potentially would be the Fed minutes, but highly unlikely that that'll be a market mover. Last week's heat map, there's Tesla, mostly due to today's drop, but Apple had a good week. Oracle had a great week, up almost 10%. Financials were good. I mean, just a whole bunch of green in a shortened week. Friday, of course, the market was closed. Year-to-date returns by sector. So the market, S&P is up 6.4% year-to-date, led by industrials, 13.5%, financials, 10%, communication, almost 10%, tech, almost 9%. So we've got only 2 sectors lower, 9 sectors higher. Remember when the sky was falling in April? Yeah. You know, there are people that got out and never got back in and have missed out. So the market's really ahead of schedule. The market on average goes up 10% a year. So for the first half, it'd be 5%. We're at 6.39. Market sentiment has taken a huge jump. Look at that. So on the bullish side, we've gone from 36%, 33, 35, 45, bang. And on the bearish side, we've gone from 33 to 41, 40 down to 33%. So people are finally starting to believe. And the rally is expanding. We have 61% now of the S&P 500 stocks trading above their 200-day moving average. That tells you about the longer term trend. Let's take a look at the charts, see what we've got cooking here. We'll pull up a chart on the S&P 500. Well, it just looks great. So you can see where we crossed above our 50-day moving average. And ever since then, we have been basically off to the races. So right now, everything looks great. Got a green MACD. Looks like we're a bit overbought on the RSI. Nothing significant there. So there you have it. Everything looking good. What about the Qs? Probably a similar chart. Yeah, almost identical. All right. Well, fantabulous. There you have it. Market update for the week. I will be seeing you again next week. Till then, be safe, be blessed. Bye for now.